So in this video, we're going to practice subtracting with mixed numbers. So if you notice, you see the problem. We have 5 3/4 minus 1 2/9. We're going to look at this and do this in two different ways with the same problem. The first time through, we're going to do this changing the mixed numbers to improper fractions. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to multiply and add and multiply and add. And I'm going to rewrite these numbers. If I multiply this and add 3, I've got 20 plus 3. So this becomes 23 over 4 minus 9 times 1 is 9 plus 2 is 11 over 9. Now if you remember, the next step we need to do is take our denominators and find our least common denominator. So we've got 4 and 9, and we're going to do this by skip counting by 4 to start, and then by 9. And again, if you have your multiplication table, you could look at rows and columns, and that would make this step even easier. So I'm going to skip count. I'm going to go 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I'm going to start with that. Now I'm going to skip count by 9 down here. 9, 18, 27, 36, and 45. And one thing we can notice is that our numbers are a little ahead down here, so I'm going to skip count some more up top to see if I can catch up or maybe find one that they share. So I got 24, 28, 32, and 36, and lo and behold, the first number that these two are going to share is 36. Now that I have that, I'm going to go back down, and if you remember, the next step here is I'm going to rewrite my fraction, which was 23 over 4, and we had 11 over 9. So we're trying to get here with this common denominator. Meaning we need to look and say 4 times some number is 36, and whatever that is, we're going to multiply both the top and the bottom by that. So 4 times 9 is 36, which means I'm going to take and multiply 9 by 23 here in the numerator. And when I do that, if I have my multiplication chart handy, this comes out to be 207. We'll do the same thing over here and say 9 times what is 36? Well, it's just the opposite of this, so it's 9 times 4, which means I need to do 11 times 4, and that is going to get me to 44. Now I'm going to take both of those and subtract them. So I get 207 over 36 minus 44 over 36. Just like addition, the first thing I'm going to do is bring my denominator right over here. I'm not going to subtract it. I'm not going to add it. I'm going to bring it right over here. And then I'm just going to subtract 207 minus 44. Okay? So 207 minus 44. We'll do it over here. 7 minus 4 is 3. We're going to borrow here. I've got 10 minus 4 is 6. And bring down my 1. So this is going to be 163 over 36. Now we're not done because we can't leave this as an improper fraction. So what we need to do is divide. So we're going to take 163 and divide it by 36. So I'm going to do that right here. And looking at this, I see 36 is close to 40. 163 is close to 160. So I'm going to maybe try 4 to start and see what happens. So if I do 4 times 6, I get 24. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 2 more is 14. It looks like I had a good guess. And if I subtract here, again, I need to borrow. 13 minus 4 is 9. 5 minus 4 is 1. Now we have all the pieces we need. Okay, so the first, this quotient up top becomes our whole number. So I'm going to rewrite that right over here. Our remainder becomes our numerator. And then our denominator is going to stay the same. So in this case, our final answer of 5 3/4 minus 1 2/9, we get 4 19/36. Okay, so that's one way to do this. The second way, we're going to do the same problem, only we're going to break apart our whole numbers and our fractions and solve it that way. So if I rewrite this again, I get 5 3/4 minus 1 2/9. And when I say break apart, so we're going to take and separate this piece and this piece to start. And do 5 minus 1. And we can do that right now, and that is going to equal 4. Then we look at our fractions, and we've got 3/4 minus 2/9. In this case, rewrite here, and we follow the same process for adding or subtracting. So I've got 3/4 minus 2/9. So the first thing I need to do, again, would be I would list my denominators of 4 and 9. And I'm going to skip count. And we know that when we do this from above, we end up with a common denominator of 36. So I'm going to write them out. $32, 36, we got 9, 18, 27, 36. So our common denominator is 36. Okay. If I go back down here now, I'm going to rewrite 3/4 times is going to equal something over 36. And I'm going to do the same thing with my other fraction, which was 2/9 equals some number over 36. Well, we know from above that 4 times 9 is 36. So whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. And 9 times 3 is 27. Over here, we're just going flip-flopping this. So 9 times 4 is 36. And then whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. So 2 times 4 is 8. Now that I've got equivalent fractions, I can go ahead and subtract. So 27, 36 minus 8, 36. And again, the first thing I'm going to do is bring my denominator over because that's going to stay the same. It's not going to change. We're not going to add. We're not going to subtract. We are going to subtract our numerators. And when we do 27 minus 8, we end up with 19 over 36. Now the only thing left here in this situation is if we go back up top, we did part of this already. We took our whole numbers and subtracted them. So we just need to combine. So we subtracted our whole numbers and got 4. We subtracted our fractions and got 19 over 36. Now we're just going to combine these two to get our answer. So we combine that, we get an answer of 4 and 19 over 36. Okay, so there's two ways that you can subtract with mixed numbers. One, turning it into an improper fraction and subtracting, and the second one, splitting apart your whole numbers and your fractions and solving each of those separately and then combining them at the end. I hope you found this video helpful.